It says I'm live. Am I really live? My goodness, it is early. I look rough. Is it live for you guys in the chat? Oh, because I'm looking at the top chat, not the live chat. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? Yes, yes, hello, hi. Hi guys, welcome. We're a punctual family here, so we're just gonna get right started. Oh my God, okay, hi guys. I'm gonna change it to top chat because you guys are chatty. Okay, I slowed it down. Hi, I apologize for any noise in the background. It's really early here. Let me know where you guys are coming in from. But it is 7 a.m. here in Seoul. The sun has not risen. So I came to Kurt's office to film this because we live in one room and I didn't want to wake him up and spoil Sorcery of Thorns for him because he hasn't read it yet. But yeah, there's like an air purifier that I can't control. So anyway, welcome. Let me get situated. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. So we are going to be talking about Sorcery of Thorns today. I know that for a lot of other book clubs, usually there's multiple people talking, but it's just me today because February has already been quite hectic. I went to Japan. If you guys want to check my main channel, which I pinned the comment in the chat, you can see my vlogs from there. But it was just a mess. So I didn't want to bring anybody else into it. So I'm a little nervous, but I know that you guys are really nice and wonderful. And so I have my notes if you see me looking down a lot. And let's just dive in, shall we? Oh my God, so many of you guys are up so late. But thank you. Thank you for being here. My Japan vlog isn't up. My Japan vlog will be up next week. I have another vlog coming out at 8 in 1 hour. So once this live stream ends, you can go check out. I go to a beautiful little sheep farm in the snow, and it's great in Korea. But anyway, to the book. So we are talking about, if I can get, come here. Yeet. We are talking about Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I read this book quite a few, well, it can't be that long ago, maybe 2 years ago, I think. And I loved it so much. Without spoilers, if you guys are still hanging on here, no spoilers. It involves so many elements that I love. It's about a girl who was pretty much raised in a library, but the library is filled with these kind of spell books that contain so much magic that they kind of become personified. And if you don't take really good care of them, they can become these kind of monsters. And so her main job is to just look after the books and deal with kind of like deliveries and stuff like that. And in this world, there are also wizards, which she has been raised to fear, but she gets caught up in some horrible thing that happens at the library. She's accused of the crime, and so she gets picked up by the wizards to go on trial, and it goes on from there. So I've described it as Dark Academia Howl's Moving Castle because so many of the characters kind of match up with Howl, and it's just it's scary. There's risk. There's, you're worried for the characters a lot of the time, but it's also just really cozy. I'm glad that you're already sold. Good. I'm also not an anime girly, but as Joyce just said, there's Black Butler vibes, which I never read. What's the correct verb? Black Butler. And then somebody in Discord was asking if anyone else saw comparisons to Full Metal Alchemist, which again, out of my toolbox. I don't know. But if you guys have that in your brains, let me know what you think. I've heard so much about Full Metal Alchemist that I feel like maybe I need. Do I watch it? Do I read it? What's the deal? It's high praise. Okay, I don't know. Let me know what I should be doing. But yeah, now we're gonna dive into, I think, a little bit more spoiler section. So get out of here, guys. Please read this book. Thank you. Goodbye. So now for me rereading this for the book club. So I'm the kind of person that if I love something to death, I either, like for a song or a book, I will reread it over and over and over and over and over again, or I will not touch it or listen to it for a very long time because I don't want the emotions to get kind of stale, I guess. Like, you guys know that my favorite band is My Chemical Romance. I don't listen to My Chemical Romance because I never want those feelings to fade. And that's kind of how I approached this book. I only read it once, even though I claim that it's one of my favorite books. And so for this book club, it was my first time rereading it. And what are my thoughts? This is the time where I want you to put your ratings. If you can give a 5-star rating. I'm really bad at rating books, so you can do it on a 5-point scale, a 10-point scale, etc. Yes, this live will be saved. But I have mixed feelings after I read it the second time. Okay, yeah, a lot of 5 out of 5s. Great. Yeah, I felt like it was so interesting to me. Maybe I didn't notice it through the first read, but the second read, I noticed that we found out our villain very early. And I think a lot of people in the Discord mentioned that as well, that it was like the 40% mark that we got our villain. And then the rest of the book was really figuring out exactly what his plan is and then how to fix that or stop him. Yeah, someone says that the villain reveal was what lowered the stars for me. I think that was, I don't know, that was a choice. I think that helped us though, with kind of character development, because once we knew the villain, then it became sort of like, how do we get Nathaniel to join the cause? How do we get Silas to, it kind of became more about the actual relationships than figuring out this mystery. So I get what she was trying to do, but I was kind of shocked by that. I was also shocked that it did feel a lot more predictable than I thought it was the first time. And that's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, just because of how much I've been reading. And yeah, just because I've been reading a lot, I've noticed that I just naturally understand the flow of a story. And so it becomes much more easy for me to find kind of those hints and stuff like that of how the story's going to go, whether it's who's the villain, and so I wonder, like, for people who are really voracious readers, do you notice that, like, that almost ruins your reading experience because you now know, you're just so used to reading stories that you kind of understand where a story is going to go, even if you've never read it before? That that kind of, I don't know, was an interesting thing for me to think about while I was reading this book. However, I do think that it was just quite cozy. And someone else just said, it's already gone, but somebody else just said that because it had that kind of light fairy tale feel, it almost didn't matter that the villain was revealed so early, because it just kind of felt like you were in this wonderful, loving story. And I kind of get that. Like, I wasn't reading this for it to be like high risk, high stakes, this like great mystery. I just kind of read it for these wonderful vibes and for the characters. So overall, I still absolutely love it. It definitely wasn't like, it didn't knock me off my feet as much as it did the first time, but I still stand by it being a really, really wonderful standalone. And that kind of brings me into talking about the story itself. And this still held true from the first read to the second read, is that speaking of it being standalone, her first chapter is so good. So when I first read this book, it was when I was really getting into writing again, and I've kind of fallen off of that wagon, unfortunately. But I was working on writing my own story, and so I was really paying attention to how she could what's it called? Sorry, I read. Oh, okay, thank you. No background noise. Sorry, I got distracted. So I was kind of, as I was reading, I was really paying attention to how she could build a world in what, 300, maybe 400 pages. How are you able to make an entire world that I can understand, make characters that I fall in love with, have us solve a mystery and go on an adventure? And the first chapter, she did the damn thing. I remember reading it and just being like, oh my God, I need to take notes. Essentially, we get everything, every piece of knowledge that we need to know. So we kind of understand the library system. We understand the spell book system. We understand Elizabeth, our main character, because there's this one part where, her mentor says that you belonged in the library as much as any book. And then it says, two words echoed through her mind with the vitality of a heartbeat. You belonged. They were words that she had waited 16 years to hear and desperately hoped were true. So we understand that she's like so loyal to the library, and she's just kind of lonely and lost, but very passionate and like really, really protects these books. And then right after that, we also get the little hint that sorcerers were evil by nature, corrupted by the demonic magic they wielded. So we also know that, wizards are bad and all this stuff. It was just, it was wonderful. And then also just the beginning of chapter 2. I adored this. When she breathed in, the sweetness of parchment and leather filled her lungs. Motes of dust hung suspended in sunbeams, perfectly still, like flakes of gold leaf trapped in resin. Like the library imagery, I could just read that. Like that's all I wanted. But I just love Margaret Rogerson for her being able to do that with a standalone. That's madness that she could just set it up for us so well. She did that a little bit, as Meredith just said. Enchantment of Ravens didn't do it that well. I think that she kind of relied on, no spoilers, but in that world, it's like based on fae. And I think she kind of relied on fae and fairy tales being kind of common knowledge, and most people going into that would understand the world and the different courts and stuff like that. But Sorcery of Thorns, she built this entire world by herself. And I think she just did the most incredible job, and I will not stop talking about it. You can also, in the chat, leave if you want me to talk about any specific scene. We're really testing my memory of the plot because, oh my God, reading it the second time, there were these like large swaths of the book that I completely forgot. And like the part where there's a man in one of the books, and that's like a pretty big part of the story. And I was like, I do not remember this man. So yeah, let me know. But it seemed like from the Discord, what everybody loved was the snow scene, quote unquote snow scene. So there's a lot of snow in this book. So I wonder which snow scene you're talking about. But the one that I think of course, is the kiss scene in the, what is that? Like the window seat. And I just want to give a shout out. I will link it. I'll share it on my Instagram. Or no, I won't, because that's spoilery. Anyway, I'll share it here. This is artwork by Rosie Thorns 88, who is the most incredible fan artist ever. And she made this really quick drawing of the scene, and I just want to show it to you. Close your eyes if you don't want spoilers, but I mean, too bad. Isn't this just, oh my God, it's not, oh no, because of the color, it's not going to show, but go look at Rosie Thorns 88. It is the sweetest. Oh my God, I love fan art so much. But yeah, everybody seemed to really love that scene. And there was a little discussion of whether or not that counted as smut, because it was just like a kind of not even heavy makeout scene, I would say. And somebody said, let me grab the quote. In all caps, Elise of Soleana, I totally butchered that, from Discord says, and this had so many reactions, I loved it. Chapter 29, specifically pages 340 to 350, in all caps. Miss Rogerson, how dare you restore my faith in authors being able to write well-written, steamy scenes without it turning into smut. I need more of that, please. Adored. I totally love that she was able to make, we really only had one kind of, I guess, physical love scene, and it was so wholesome and sweet and lovely. And if you read the novella, which if you want to, we can talk about it a little bit later, that kind of continues. Like, she didn't, I feel like she might have felt a lot of pressure in terms of giving us more now that they, have kind of expressed their feelings for each other. And I don't think that she ever crossed any kind of line in terms of like raising the spice level. Let me know what you think. But I think that she just kind of kept it pure and wholesome and wonderful when, like I said, I think that there's definitely pressure from the fandom as a whole, like bookstagram, whatever, as a whole. And I love that she just kind of kept it where it's at. And I adore her for that. What else was I going to say about no, those are the only scenes that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, the skating scene. Yeah. There was just, so for the novella, just no spoilers, but like definitely it's quite short. Try to get it at the library. I know that like right now I think they're only selling hardcovers, so it can be quite expensive. But it's cute. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be at all. And I really enjoyed it. So there you go. There's novella. Now I want to kind of break down. Oh, wait. Talking about scenes, let's talk about the ending. What did you guys think about it? Specifically, I don't know if it was technically the epilogue, but like the very, 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 very last scene where it ends a little bit ambiguously. How did you guys feel about that? I want to know, because most people, okay, good. Most people, I feel like, said that they loved it, especially because everyone seems to be obsessed with Silas. Like on Discord, you guys are Silas simps. Like the amount of times that you guys are talking about Silas was wonderful. But how did you feel? It seems like everybody's happy. Some people are a little bit annoyed. Yeah, I think that I loved how she did it, but I do think just like from a writing standpoint, it's a little not cheap, but it was kind of an easy out maybe, to kind of give us a little bit of heartbreak and then give us that tiny piece of hope. But for me personally, I really liked it. I think that in the novella, I was a little let down by Silas. But I wonder if you've read, don't put spoilers in the live chat, but if you've read the novella, do you think we're getting a Silas spinoff? do you think Silas is going to get his own book? Because just saying, no spoilers, but like the novella sure made it seem like it. People are saying no. I wish somebody needs to write it. I would love it to be Margaret, but if somebody wants to to take that up. Okay, I can't pronounce that name. Clothilda? Yeah, I've literally never said that out loud. But yeah, that's a character name that I will not touch. But yeah, so I think that like kind of from beginning to end, she just very clearly knew where the plot was going the whole time. I thought that she was in control of the whole plot the whole time. And overall, just really excellent. So then let's just talk about the characters in and of itself, because I feel like more than the plot, what I understood from, oh, the sun's coming up. What I understood from the Discord as I was lurking, Clot-Ild. All right. Well, I'm not going to say that a lot. But yeah, so from the Discord, it seemed like everybody was more interested in the characters themselves than the plot. Like we were kind of there for the vibes. Like, yes, library vibes, yes, wizards, yes, swords. But at the end of the day, people were just really there for the characters. And starting with Elizabeth, we have this like super tall, she's supposed to be 6'2", I think, as Margaret has said. She's 6'2". She is a little bit naive. Here's the thing. I loved that Margaret did this, that she made her naive because she has only lived in the library, basically. So, Nathaniel kind of plays on the fact that she has these superstitions about wizards and stuff like that. But at the same time, she's still really strong. I feel like a lot of, especially in fantasy, we get characters who are like naive and like, oh my God, the world is so big. I had no idea. And they just kind of feel very weak and like pulled around by the plot and stuff like that. But from the get-go, Elizabeth is a badass, and she's like, these wizards are evil. I'm going to run away or die trying, and all of this stuff. She, from the beginning, is like ready to pick a fight. And I really loved that Margaret did that. So she's super tall. She's a little bit naive, but she's very quick to catch on to things. And she loves swords, and I love her for that. I wish that she didn't have to lose an important person in her life for our story to start, but that's just kind of how stories go. But yeah, I really loved Elizabeth. I will say, I think in the novella, it was definitely like all about Nathaniel and Silas. Like I kind of got that the boys kind of overshadowed her. But I think that that's sort of how her character is that she's like not like super jolly and over the top like Nathaniel kind of turns out to be. She's quite serious, and she seems like someone who has grown up in a library wanting to be a protector of books. Like I think that throughout the story, she doesn't do anything out of character. She doesn't, I don't know, she doesn't try to be anything that she's not. And I really, really loved that Margaret gave us a character like that. And she just continues to be a badass. She gets even more badass, I would say, and maybe a little more fun in the novella. Yeah, adored her. Yeah, she is a book lice, a book louse. Mm. The ball scene, I don't remember if she was like out of character for that. I think that she, like, maybe that kind of ties into kind of what we talked about in the very first chapter, is where she just desperately wants to belong. And so I think that in that case where we go to the ball with the like high wizard or whatever, I think she kind of felt important, and she felt, I don't know, that she belonged there. But yeah, I agree that maybe that was like the one instance where she was out of her element and kind of acting not like that. What happened at the ball? I forgot. Me too. um, but I think that it's, when she was it when she had the anxiety attack? Is that what you're talking about? Did she have an anxiety attack? What are you guys talking about? I completely forgot. But the ball happens at the High Wizards party or whatever, when they were confronting the villain. Oh, okay. Yeah. I would say a little bit, but I also think that's a little bit of her, not like naivety or whatever. But I think that throughout the book, her and Nathaniel both kind of really thought that she, how do I explain this? I don't know what I'm saying. Never mind. But yeah, I agree that maybe that part wasn't the best, but for some reason that part, like Nathaniel drinking, like not drinking, and then have it been like under control or whatever. For some reason that's a part that sticks in my mind, but apparently not the few moments before. Yeah, and then when they tried to lock her in the asylum, but she still, helps the people who are in there, the girl who helps her escape and stuff like that. Yeah, I just really liked her. Moving on to our character Nathaniel, who everyone loves. I forgot how funny he was. There are so many just like wonderful one-liners that he has. What's the one that I really liked? Let me find it. Where is it? Okay. So he says, "Fine, I'll help you. Not for any noble reason," he added quickly as her spirit soared. "I still think it's a lost cause. We're probably going to get ourselves killed." He resumed walking up the stairs. "But every man has his limits, and if there's one thing I can't do, it's stand by and watch you demolish irreplaceable antiques." And he just has like those kind of lines. He is a soft king. He is our bi king. He's just such an interesting character because he's probably the most sad, but also the most just kind of ridiculous. And I adored that about him so much. He's even funnier in Mysteries of Thorn Manor. Like that's kind of when, like reading it a second time, I was like, oh yeah, Nathaniel's funny. And then reading Mysteries of Thorn Manor, I was like, oh, he's actually insane. And yes, he does have Will Herondale vibes. Like I really felt that he had that just kind of absurd character going for him. There are just things that he says that I'm just like, I can't take you seriously at all. And then he'll turn around and be like, I'm so incredibly sad and self-sacrificing and blah, blah, blah. So he was just such a great character. I loved that throughout the entire story, going through to the novella, Elizabeth is 100% like the strong one in this relationship. He is absolute, like he tries his best, but like Elizabeth is such a badass. And it's not even like, I feel like in a lot of fantasies we see like a strong male character allowing the female character to be strong and like cheering her on and supporting her, but like they're strong in their own right. But I feel like Nathaniel, bless his heart, like isn't super strong. He like doesn't really have that kind of alpha thing going on. So there was never a point where he like gave Elizabeth permission or anything like that. He just kind of sat back and was in awe of her. He's a mess. He's bisexual. He's sarcastic. A whole icon. Yes, Alexandra. But yeah, I just really adored that of it. It didn't feel, I just love that relationship so much. Yeah, Nathaniel, if you love Nathaniel and you haven't read the novella yet, get your hands on the novella, please. Thank you. And then finally ending with Silas, because all of you guys are obsessed with Silas. What do I have to say? I loved when we first meet Silas, the whole imagery of his kind of not curse, but his demon energy, where as much as Elizabeth tries to focus on him, she forgets him. That kind of magic was so cool to me. And also just kind of sad knowing Silas and knowing how much he cares for people and stuff like that, to kind of have that in him of people don't really see him and don't really remember him unless he wants them to. Looking back on it, I'm kind of like, oh man, I'm really glad that Elizabeth broke that curse, because Silas needed her in his life. But yeah, Silas is such a funny character, especially when he's a cat. Is it Mr. Fluffington or something like that? I loved that there was no chance of romance. I was really worried. Even reading it a second time, I was looking specifically for, like, did Margaret put in any of these things? Because we talk about how he's so beautiful. He's got this like ethereal kind of demonic, immortal, maybe he's an angel look to him. But never is it hinted that there would be any kind of romance, any kind of love triangle thing going on. And I feel like, again, that's something that authors can be quite pressured into, because that's such a like beloved trope in the fandom. And I just love that he was there as kind of this, I would he kind of be characterized as like an asexual character? Potentially. I loved that it was completely platonic and at times scary. Like up until the very end, he was very much like, girl, remember I'm a demon. And yeah, I just loved that he kept that. Yeah, he's not even human, so that seems fair. Well, I've read a lot of books where there are love interests that aren't humans. So yeah, switching from being really sincere to being this kind of morally gray character. The romance. Oh, he's canonically arrow, ace. The author has confirmed this. I did not know. Because yeah, actually, I had a couple people asking me this sorry, I'm reading the chat, so I'm like losing my mind. A couple people asking me this of, have I read Vespertine? Yes, I have read Vespertine, and Vespertine follows a main character who is very much confirmed ace. So I think that that's really great that, oh, and the author themselves is, I didn't know Margaret has said that. But anyway, I think that that's something that's so refreshing and so interesting in YA fantasy, to have characters that are ace or that are just very much only having platonic relationships and stuff like that. I think that that's weirdly such a risk. Like I imagine, especially when, she's a, I guess, traditionally published author, having to pitch those things to a publisher when the environment right now for publishing fantasy, YA especially, is where's the romance? Because that's really where fandoms come in and stuff like that. So I've seen. So for her to pitch multiple books that contain ace rep, I think is really great. And just a question, because I don't want to be saying this wrong. Everybody is in the chat is saying aro ace, like a romantic ace. Is that how you should say it? Is me just saying ace incorrect? Let me know, because I genuinely don't know. Is Vespertine worth the read? I didn't love it as much, I will say, as Sorcery of Thorns. It's one of those, it's a standalone that I think she's now making, she's continuing it. Oh, you can be either or both. Thank you. So yeah, it wasn't my favorite. I think that it has a lot to do with like necromancy and zombies, and not zombies, but right, dead things, death. So it was a lot darker, but it was a great fantasy. It just kind of like the commenter said, it wasn't as good as Sorcery of Thorns, but yeah. Anyway, Silas, wonderful, great, love him to death. I also didn't notice until literally last night that the cover for the novella, which is beautiful, Silas is hiding there, and I didn't actually notice. So if you can find him, if you haven't noticed Silas yet, look hard, and you can find him on the novella cover. Yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't see him. Yeah, yeah, you got to look for him. He's hiding, but he's there. Speaking of, I guess this is a good time to do our little giveaway. I ran the program right before we started. So if you guys didn't see on my Instagram, it's /Cari can read. And I'm giving away an art print. Let me grab it actually. By none other than Charlie Bowater. Charlie does the art for so many things, but she did the covers for Enchantment of Ravens, Sorcery of Thorns, and I believe she also did Vespertine. She is incredible, and she made this particular piece of work for Sorcery of Thorns. I'm so sorry that I can't. I'm using my webcam, so I can't change the lighting on my phone. But I am doing a little giveaway, and I did the thing, and the name that was picked is K_N Conrad. I will message you on Instagram. I will set that up. But yes, there's a French cover for Sorcery of Thorns. Tell me more. Is the image different, or is it just the script that is in French? That's so interesting. But yeah, congrats. I will reach out to you, gonna send you a little art print. I got one for myself as well. So I already know that it's so beautiful in person. What are you talking about? The French cover. Okay, stop. Have you guys been hiding this from me? French cover, Sorcery of Thorns. Guys, there's a, oh my God, wait, it's different. Okay, I think I have seen this. Okay. Hold on. Let me find an image that isn't blurry. Why are literally all of the images so bad? Okay, well, I'll just show it's this artwork. You can just go to Charlie Bowater on Instagram. That's the French cover. And look at Nathaniel and Silas. You can't see Silas, but I just love her work to death. So yeah, that's our little giveaway. And yeah, she did the work for the, what is it, Mysteries of Thorn Manor, and actually she did the artwork before having read the book. I think that that's so fascinating when artists have to create art that's like, for being a book cover, that's like a defining part of the book, I think. To create that artwork without having fully read the book yet must be so nerve-wracking, but I thought that she did such a wonderful job, because I mean, look at the cover of Sorcery of Thorns. It's so good. It's so good. Enchantment of Ravens also is stunning. But yeah, so anyway, what else was there? That was really that. Oh, I also want to read, just like, where was it? I pulled this quote. I don't remember. I was going to talk about it a second ago, but I forgot. This was also from chapter 9. I just want to just give her writing a moment, because I love this. I guess it's a simile. Andra posted this on Discord and said, "I'm melting over this part. It's chapter 29." And the line is, "Something drew tight inside her like a violin string awaiting the touch of a bow. Looking down at him, her heart ached with a song that did not have words or notes or form, but strained nonetheless to be given a voice. A sensation that was not unlike suffering, for it seemed too great for her body to contain." Like that, she wrote that instead of smut, basically. And I love her. I love her writing so much. That imagery of a violin string, like, I love Margaret to death. Da, 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 da. Oh, yeah, and this is something with Nathaniel that everyone's obsessed with, and I agree. I think we have issues that we need to deal with, but Nathaniel calling her horrible things, I adore this. How she's like a menace. She's a torturous woman. She's, taking years off of his life. My terror, yes. I adore how much you guys adore that. I also love it. But I just thought it was so funny that everyone was like, "Oh my God, Nathaniel just called her this absolutely horrible thing." And it's the most romantic thing I've ever read. It continues throughout the book, throughout the novella, but also the one thing that everybody pointed out was he always calls her Scrivener, which is her last name. And then there's one point where he slips and calls her Elizabeth, and everyone lost their shit. And I totally get that. Yeah, feral librarian. That's such a great one. But yeah, I needed to point that out, give that a bit of a moment because everybody loved it. But yeah, that was Sorcery of Thorns. I'm so glad that we made that little chat room. Like I said, I didn't really participate in the Discord because I was lurking. But yeah, I'm really so thankful that you guys participated. I hope you guys had fun. Oh my gosh, yes, it is like Gideon the Ninth. What's it called? But yeah, thank you guys so much for participating. And if you guys weren't part of the Discord, just know that there was a spoiler-free section and a spoiler-filled section. So if you feel like you didn't want to participate because you're maybe a slower reader or something like that, there is a section there for you to talk without fear of it being spoiled at any point, regardless of your reading speed. You guys just kept it so respectful and so nice, and it was just literally the most wholesome thing. So thank you guys so much for participating. I'm going to open it up for suggestions for next month. For February, well, I feel like I don't know if I can do this every single month, like starting on the first of the month, obviously, because it's already the middle of February. But if you're okay with it being kind of like a nonsensical schedule, I will, right after this, I'm going to kind of open it up in the Discord for you guys to add your suggestions, because I do want this to definitely be choices that you guys are making. I just made the choice the first time because I really wanted to reread the book. So yeah, I'm going to be traveling in March. Actually, if I know a lot of you guys are in Europe, I'm going to Prague and Vienna in March. So if you guys are okay with doing something more like having a chat like this, maybe at the very end of March or the very first week of April, then yeah, we can do that. How can you join the Discord? The link is in the description box of this video or any of my other videos. If you are in Prague or Vienna, definitely follow me on my main channel, which again is pinned at the top of this chat. I am going to be trying to do a meetup. Yeah. So if you want to hang out, I'm going to pop into a coffee shop and say hi. So yeah, check the Discord. I'm probably going to pass out. Oh my God, the sun is really up now. How weird. I'm probably going to pass out right after this and take a little nap because I woke up at 5 a.m. But sometime today, hopefully I will have you guys the ability to suggest things. I saw somebody say a Far Wilder Magic. I would love to talk about that. I think that standalones are a really safe bet, but it's up to you guys. If you want to do the beginning of a series and torture me, we can. So yeah, okay. I will catch you guys next time. Oh, sorry if there was anything cutting out. It seems like you guys fixed the stream. Okay, well, maybe that's my cue to leave then if the audio is cutting out. But anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you as always. And I will see you guys next time. I will update the description of this video with everything we've talked about, links and stuff like that. Okay, the audio is going crazy. Sounds good. I'll see you later. Bye.